Namaste, Sacred Masters, and welcome to this pick a card session for your shadow work. We have the deck shuffle and 3 random cards from the Dark Mirror Oracle deck placed before you. If you want to purchase this deck, look for the link in the description box below. You can pause the video and take your time to see if any of these cards resonate with you, and then use the time code in order to jump to the card you choose. This is card 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget there are many more pick a card videos to choose from. You can find them in my playlist, Shadow Work Pick a Shadow Card, on my channel's main page, so don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell for more pick a card sessions. After you pick your card, I will explain what each card means in the book. Now, the book's description is poetic and can be confusing sometimes, but for the sake of sharing, I will read it out, then give you my interpretation of it. You will hear my interpretation when I remove my mask and speak with my normal voice. I will also give you a shadow prompt in order to get started on some shadow work based on the card you pick, together with Grabovoi Codes to help with your shadow work sessions, or sometimes a link to another video relating to the matter. Alright, let's get started. Pick a card and jump to the timestamp. The card you picked is Downcast Pride and is represented by the new moon phase. It is illustrated with the eyes dark with dried blood tears looking downwards. The face of a dark-skinned beautiful elf with gold laurels among her hair is stern and motionless. Roots plunge into her body from a golden collar. The sky behind her as gray as concrete. The sentence that resonates with this is, "The root of sadness and grief is deeper than skin. The only delusion is the gray sky." What this card speaks about is how survival is the direct consequence of adaptation. What we call adaptation is not the results of a subtle but constantly constructive change of ourselves, but rather a mockery of it, as we strip day by day of our dignity in order to avoid conflict with a world that would spread us apart. How can we endure this? Maybe through the power of responsibility, or through a hidden core of identity. Sometimes we don't use the best parts of us, but rather we draw from the ugliest. We survive and bend our knees because we draw from our laziness, fear, and disgust. We let our deepest roots go dry, replaced by what can only be called a surge of lack of self-esteem. We are deluded when we think that we are only sacrificing our pride. We cling to vanity, but we can't afford dignity. Isn't it sad? Honestly, the true delusion is our faith in fall and winter, while we discard spring and summer as fairy tales. The sky can change color too. As long as we sometimes look up, we can notice. One of the reasons that we do shadow work is to find our true and authentic self, the part of us that is lost because we develop traits, habits, and behaviors in order to adapt to culture. In order to survive, we have to pick up what we deem to be behavioral traits that others will like about us so that we can be accepted. A man becomes a doctor because that's what his parents want him to be, and he is respected by his peers because of his vocation. But what if, deep down inside, he always wanted to be a famous musician? He will never know. And the scary thing is, if he thinks about the what if on his deathbed, dying with regrets even in the company of his loved ones, that can be really, really sad. Take a look around you and ask yourself with this shadow prompt. What's one trait you see in other people that you wish you had? Whether you admire a particular person's determination to go beyond the norm and pursue their passions or their talent in something, ask yourself, why do you not possess this characteristic and how can you achieve it? Even if it means taking small steps, when you're looking for your hidden passions, harness the energies of determination and focus for learning with the Grabovoi Code 212-585-212. If you want to know how to use Grabovoi Codes in your sessions for meditating or journaling, check out the link above or in the description box below. I hope this session gives you something to work on. Pick up your shadow journals and let's start finding our inner and true authentic self. I'll try to post more pick a card every week depending on my schedule, so that gives you some time to sit with your shadow prompt and begin working on positive changes to a new life. If you found something new about yourself, don't forget to comment and share with others as well. This not only helps build courage and self-esteem, but it also encourages others that they are not alone. I'll see you in the next session. Namaste. The card you pick is Black Flower Fragrance and is represented by the full moon. The card is illustrated with a beautiful woman. Her face, with a hint of resolve, holds a strange black rose on her chest. It seems to explode like a crystal, each petal an obsidian shard. The sentence that resonates with this is, if we want to go dark, go black. Don't stop the evening, but embrace the night. The card says love is not a white dove, nor it turns people into angels. Love can be ugly. Love can be cheap. Love can be rotten. But even ugly love has a right to exist. Even cheap love can raise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Even a black rose by any other name should still smell as sweet. Even if you're wrong, you still have the right to be angry. Even if you're not perfect, you have the right to be respected. Even if you're stupid, you have the right to be listened to. Even if you're lucky, you have the right to complain. Even if you're rich, you have the right to be sad. If you cannot shine because you're beautiful, then shine even if you're ugly. Shine because you're ugly. Gorgeously black. Ugly as love. Worn out as an angel. Cheap as a crown, unconquered as a fragrance in the night. I believe oftentimes we put the idea of love on a pedestal. We think of love as an emotion that is so pure. It cannot do us wrong. Sometimes we are even in love with the idea of love itself instead of with a person. But the thing is, love is not perfect all the time. And when it doesn't fit into our narrative, we blame people instead. We think our relationships are flawed and this can't be love. We don't see love as yin and yang, black and white. We only want to see it in one way, usually white. But in order to have healthy relationships, we have to allow times when we are not happy with it and enjoy the times that we are. Ask yourself in your shadow prompt, when have I expected too much out of love? Begin to go into an inner query and ask yourself if you have projected your ideal version of love on another person and took it out on them when they could not fulfill it. If you want to go deeper, ask yourself where you got your ideas, stories, or narrative of love from. A movie? A book? Is your idea and narrative on love based upon fiction? How can you find that peace within to nurture love for all its pureness and all its darkness as well? Use the Grabovoi Code for love, which is 888-412-1289-018 during your shadow work sessions, or you can use my sleep programming video, which I will link at the top. If you want to know how to use Grabovoi Codes in your sessions for meditating or journaling, check out the link above or in the description box below. I hope this session gives you something to work on. Pick up your shadow journals and let's start finding our inner and true authentic self. I'll try to post more pick a card every week depending on my schedule, so that gives you some time to sit with your shadow prompt and begin working on positive changes to a new life. If you found something new about yourself, don't forget to comment and share with others as well. This not only helps build courage and self-esteem, but it also encourages others that they are not alone. I'll see you in the next session. Namaste. The card you picked is called Fragmentation and is represented by the waxing crescent moon. It is illustrated in what seems to be a cold iron coat rack and is topped by a broken stone statue of a fairy visible only from the chest up. Stone roses are at her breast. A crack cuts her face and her body while a jewel is on her forehead and silvery insect wings stand at her back. A crescent golden slice of the moon is like a halo behind her head. It is possible to glimpse suspended in the void, also the hands of the stone fairy. The sentence that resonates with this card is, losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. This card asks, what if I were to cut off my legs? Would I still be me? If I were to carve out my heart, would I still be me? If my flesh would turn to stone, if my lungs were emptied of air, if my dreams to fly were to be forced in chains and hang out like an expired balloon, would I still be me? I fought and I lost, broken beyond recognition. Not by the shallow sight of bystanders who can pity but who can't understand. I cannot even recognize myself, through the sobs, through the tears, and when silence finally comes, through the empty motion and conventional spouse. Who did this to me? I did. Maybe, maybe not. What is broken can be mended, not so that it returns whole, but at least until it tells its name anew. My name. And who will do that for me? I will.
This card talks about lost hopes and dreams. Oftentimes we lose our sense of purpose as we try to navigate in the uncharted waters we call life. The more we modify our behavior, traits, hopes and dreams so that we can fit into society, the more we lose who we really are. We forget sometimes the hopes and dreams we had as a little child and probably still do today. How can we find this again? Use the shadow prompt. What gives my life meaning, purpose, and makes me feel valued? Importantly, is there anything on your list that you have not done or have procrastinated to do because life got in the way? Now is your sign that you should do it. What would you like to be recognized for? What do you want to be remembered for? Use the Grabovoi Code 918-794-8181 to self-heal yourself in this session. If you want to know how to use Grabovoi Codes in your sessions for meditating or journaling, check out the link above or in the description box below. I hope this session gives you something to work on. Pick up your shadow journals and let's start finding our inner and true authentic self. I'll try to post more pick a card every week depending on my schedule, so that gives you some time to sit with your shadow prompt and begin working on positive changes to a new life. If you found something new about yourself, don't forget to comment and share with others as well. This not only helps build courage and self-esteem, but it also encourages others that they are not alone. I'll see you in the next session. Namaste.